Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. Alright, so Trev Barlow has it. In the video when I introduced the new 2019 Rolex models, a lot of the comments were ones of disappointment. Rolex is boring, they should have done this, they should have done that. Disappointment, that was the major theme that was going on. And I think it's a bit of echo chamber going on. I think a few YouTubers expressed disappointment and a lack of enthusiasm in regards to the new releases, and I think a lot of people have echoed that. Now, when I made my video, I saw the Rolex website, and I made the video, and it was pretty much 100% my reaction with no outside influence, and it wasn't a reaction of unbridled excitement, obviously, but it wasn't really boredom either. But as I've seen these comments come in, I've thought it's kind of unreasonable, and that's why Trev Barlow has it. His comment, you can read it in full in the description of this video, but essentially he says, why are we expecting new pieces every year? These things aren't disposable, and they last a lifetime. And he nailed it. Look, I would love exciting new colors. I'd love to see a white Explorer, and I'd love to see a blue Sub. And above that, I'd love to see just a new model. I mean, a new professional model, the Trekker, the Hiker, something with a a double bezel action. Like two bezels that an outside part that moves and an inside part that moves, and really something cool and new. I'd love it, but that's not the way Rolex works. It's a very conservative company, and so I don't know if people are comparing Rolex to what they expect from other brands, and I think that's probably what's happening, and that's really unfair. Look, that would be a terrible move if Rolex released a bunch of new models, a bunch of new colors, because what's going to happen next year? What are you going to expect from them? Pretty much the same, and then you're going to be bitching and moaning next year. Rolex, they're a conservative company. They do incremental changes, sensible changes. You're going to get a new color. You're going to get a new GMT color. It's coming, right? This is just the first step. Retiring the black is just the first step. It's a very slow first step to realizing that. You're going to get your new Sub. Not this year, but this is a step closer to that. They didn't do anything Sub-wise this year, so you can expect it in the future. One of the worst things Rolex could do is to satisfy you children, because it's going to be a vicious cycle when every year comes, you're going to want more and more, and that's a slippery slope to where, to satisfy that kind of customer, they need to do things like Omega and release limited editions, and once that starts, it's all downhill. I'm speaking to people who are, I guess, comparing Rolex to a typical watch company, and it's not. Rolex is it's really its own thing, and it's really incomparable to a for-profit watch company like Omega. They can't go the slow road. They've sort of screwed themselves. And look, it's the nature of the beast. They've got stockholders, and they need to make money, and so they have to excite every year. They have to do the limited editions, and they got to turn a profit. Rolex it doesn't have to do that. They can play the long game. They are playing the long game, and this is what the long game looks like. And it's not exciting all the time. You've got you got bursts of amazing things that come out. The Sky Dweller, when that came out, or the Red Sea Dweller, perhaps. But you can't expect them to conduct themselves like Omega. And you wouldn't want them to. This is why Rolex is not a bubble, because they can hold back, they can look at the long game, they can plan, and they're thinking 20 years down the road. So they've got a plan, and you see incremental steps, and to moan about it is not really understanding what they're doing. And if you're not a Rolex owner, you don't care, and it's a great angle to criticize them with. It's a great angle in which to criticize them. But if you have a Rolex and you understand the brand and you like the brand, it's probably one of the best moves to have a conservative company that might not be exciting all the time, but that makes logical steps. And you've seen them. You've seen steps towards what's going to be a new GMT in the future. Okay, what's going to be the color? Is it going to be an all black? Maybe not. It could be something different. It might be an all black. I don't know. But these are incremental steps, and they make sense. And if you are rooting for Rolex, this is the kind of stuff you want. You don't want the here's a bunch of new colors and here's a bunch of new models. You'll be happy. I'd be happy. I'd be thrilled. But what's going to happen next year? I have to do some more of that nonsense, and that's the start of a bubble. You know, these catering to sort of the watch collector that wants something new and different and exciting every year. And Rolex doesn't cater. I mean, they do what they do, and sort of you accept it. And I mean, it can be maddening, and it can feel like they're not listening to you, but they've got a plan, and they've got they have a plan that they're working towards, and it's not always exciting. It's not always bells and whistles and new colors and new models, and that's why Rolex is what it is, and that's why Rolex is as strong as it is, and that's why it will always be strong, and that's why it's not a bubble. All right, you're not going to have these limited edition models that might get you excited at first, but ultimately screw the brand and screw the brand status and the value of the brand. So Trev Barlow nailed it, and he's thinking reasonably about these things. Yes, they do last a lifetime, and we cannot expect new colors and new models every year. That's ridiculous. And Rolex knows that, and they know better. And it's companies like Omega and the companies that really cater and pander is probably a better word to the customer that needs to kind of step back and assess what they're doing in the long term. You got to play the long game, and Rolex is playing the long game. And that's why it's not a bubble. It won't ever be a bubble, and you're never going to see BL&R's tank, and you're never going to see the black tank. Is always going to retain its value, and if you have one, you're set. You're set. That's money in the bank, but it's on your wrist. So take care. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Bye-bye.